What's up? It's Gabe Sipes, Custom Audio Reimagined, back in the shop, getting ready to start on a 2002 Corvette. We're going to be doing a Sony AX4000 head unit install. Pretty well perfect. The obvious, this guy's a Corvette lover. So let's go ahead and get into it. So right off the bat, the main issue with these Corvettes is this is not a double dent opening. It's actually like a dent and a half, dent and 3/4. GM came out with this radio back in the early, I think the late 90s, early 2000s. They came out with these and they're in about every car they had. So what people have to do is cut that dash piece or a Dremel stuff away just to get a double dent to fit. And it ends up really, really sucking. And honestly, every Corvette owner gets mad when you do that because they're Corvette owners and they usually love their Corvette. So when you start dremeling away the factory dash bezel, they get a little pissed off and they're just not happy about it. And throughout the years, companies have came out with kits, and the kits they work, but they never match. They don't have the texture. Like, they'll be missing the texture there. They don't have the correct grain. The color will be off. But a lot of them, like, that's smooth. It'll just be smooth ABS. And it looks really weird when you have that smooth ABS transitioning into the textured center console and up here on the dash. So it'll come across and it just looks odd. And the black is never really black. It's like a shaded gray almost. So it just doesn't look right all around. And for years, that's just what Corvette owners had to deal with. And it was just a sacrifice you had to do if you wanted to have a double dent radio. Until a company called Vettnutts, which they're online, vettnutts.com. So I've done the Vettnutts dash piece multiple times. And it is hands down the best you can get that I've ever seen. It is a perfect factory match grain, a factory match color. Everything about it looks like it came from GM. And they, I'm pretty sure, told me in the past that they have the molds and they like paid for the molds or the rights, and they're the only ones that have it. And you're gonna imagine that the cost, it's a pretty good penny. They're not cheap by any means, but you're getting this perfectly matched bezel. And if you have like the tan interior or anything, they have those as well. So you'll get a perfect match. So that's great, love it. More than happy to use their stuff because it always works out perfect. The problem is they aren't the only show in town anymore. It's been years. So there's a lot of companies now that actually make the bezel for the Corvette. Now, are they any good? I don't know. But I do know they're about 5 times cheaper than that kit. I almost bit the bullet and ordered one of them that I'd never heard of before, just because at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? If the color doesn't match, I can spray it with Sim. I can make it match. Because honestly, once you see how much one of these are, and then you see how much one of those are, it's really hard to buy one of the Vettnut ones. You're just like, I don't see how it could be worth that much more. But here is the kit. This replaces obviously the whole thing in there. Now normally the sub dash has to be modified. So I can't remember what it is, but here are their instructions. You have to scan that to get the instructions. I'm pretty sure there's some trimming I got to do in the sub dash to fit the new radio. And then we also have the pack OEM 1, which this is for the Vet. This is for Corvettes. So the ROEM Vet 1 is what they call it, but it actually is the OEM 1. It's kind of weird, has 2 names. But this is like some old school interfacing where we're interfacing into the Bose system. I'm kind of surprised that there isn't a better way to do it. And if there is, and nobody has told me, that makes me mad because I never really looked into it. This is just the way you always did Vets. Regardless, it's a whole bunch of talking. I'm gonna get in there and pull this thing apart. So I'm gonna pull out the factory radio. I'll show you when I get to a certain point where things are coming out. To disassemble a Corvette, again, there's 1,000 videos on YouTube. I'm not gonna waste my time showing you how to do it because on YouTube, there's somebody who probably did it way better. It's Corvette, dude. There's 1,000 videos. So I'm gonna go pull this whole bezel out, pull out the factory radio, and then I need to confirm what wires are in the factory harness so I know if I have to do any repinning of this right here. Let's get into it. And here we have it removed. the console. So we just got to pull the radio. These aren't that hard to pull apart, but you just have to be really careful and go slow, because normally I don't get as lucky as I am on this one. This car is pristine. The guy that owns this, or whoever has owned this car, has taken care of this like it's a small child. The plastics are not brittle. Everything is just perfect, as if it's 2002, which is making my life much easier. Most of the time on these old GMs, the plastics are very brittle. The UV rays have destroyed them and started to break them down, and you'll get all kinds of like eggshell cracking. They'll shatter where the mounting points are. They'll break when you try to lift them out. So you have to be real careful, but this one is just like butter. It's might as well be a brand new Corvette. It's very nice when people take care of their things. Makes my life easier, and it makes me want to do that much better of a job. You wouldn't believe how much it will affect the install when you bring a car that's completely trashed and it's quite clearly your dumpster. It really makes it hard for me want to go the extra mile to do anything really nice. And now with the radio removed, you can see what you're dealing with in the back end there. When I said earlier, I think you have to modify the rear, like the back areas. This shelf, if I remember right, you had to cut that out. Use an air saw or multi-tool, because it riveted in, and you had to actually cut that out. And I'm not sure if you had to cut the bottom one out, but I do know it added a lot of time, whatever the mod was, and I think that was it. We may get lucky and not have to do that, being that the Sony radio is an L chassis. So it's just got the chassis at the top, and then at the bottom it's flat. So instead of being a full double din like the old ones, where that would actually be in the way, I think the Sony will probably slip in there without an issue. Each one of these speakers has its own amp. There is no like single amp in this car, and that's why these things were kind of weird and unique and hard to integrate into. There's a giant driver back there, like a 6 or 8 inch woofer, and then there's a mid-range. The amplifier is part of the woofer. It's in the center, like in the basket or something on the backside. So it's amp there, and I believe the radio actually powered the rears. I don't think the Bose amp powered them, but again, 2002, man, I'm getting old. I can't remember all this. I do what I can, but I'm so old and fat. Getting out of this Corvette is actually just depressing me so much, because it's so low to the ground, which I love, because I love lowriders like my car. I haven't gotten in and out of my show car in a year. I'm gonna have to test it out, because getting out of this car is embarrassing. Check this out. Okay, so here's how low I am to the ground, which is dope. I love that. But I didn't know I've gotten so fat that my knees are having a hard time picking my big ass up from here. Oh dear Lord. Ugh, yeah, core baby. And here's when you can see doing Corvettes suck, because it's just such a small, tight area. What we have going on here, which looks like a mess, but actually I had everything already installed. The problem is these are gains, all right? Most people forget about these, or they don't even know they're there. So either one of two things will happen. They'll get in, they'll turn on their Corvette, and all they'll have is bass coming from the doors and no highs. And that's because these are turned all the way up, because these are actually the gains on the front for the subwoofers. Or you'll get in and you'll notice you have all highs and no bass. That's because these gains are turned all the way down. The problem is that is all dictated by the radio and how much power the radio is putting out through the high level input of the setup. So there's no universal setting. So I set them to just mid, noon, 12 o'clock position, and it's way too much. I just had it all in here, turned it on, and the doors are just playing way too heavy. It just needs to be adjusted. So that makes this suck, because then you got to pull all this back out, kind of lay it here, go in here, adjust this, put it back in, test it out. If it ain't right, pull it out, and you do that over and over. On top of that, you have to do the same thing with the radio. So I've got the radio, I had it in there, and the radio is sitting way too close to this, meaning the dash kit won't have any space to actually mount up. So I've got to play with these mounts and adjust these mounts on the sides here and get them in the right position. And then I get to do the game where I have to bring the dash kit over here, slip it around the shifters, slip it around the steering wheel, stick it up there and go, nope, pull it back out, pull this out, play with the settings, do it again. Nope, pull it out. It's really fun. This is the fun part. It's not fun, it sucks. So it's already 5 o'clock and I'm still not done because these things just take a lot of effort. And as you can see, this red wire, if you saw the red wire sitting right here, that is because there is no accessory wire in the harness. So you have to run that to the fuse box, which is under the carpet on the passenger side. And I've got it back in for another little test fit. And as you can see now, see the little space. So that's what you're trying to get, is trying to get the gap. And I actually angled the brackets because I realized when I put it in, it's actually doing like a natural angle. So when I angled the brackets, it's now straight. So you just have to try. I mean, every time you do it, it's always going to be different. So go ahead and test this out and see how it sounds. So I don't know. I don't know if it sounds good or not because, of course, the battery's dead. So everything about this just kind of went to complete hell in the last 4 hours. And that's mainly out of frustration because my back is getting so fucking jacked up getting in and out of this. The pack interface, adjusting it while it's all hooked up, it's not fun. Everything's just kind of hanging out. I finally got it going. His speakers don't sound that great. I think he needs to bypass the Bose and upgrade. It's probably gonna have to happen because you can totally tell that they are getting their ass kicked. They're just struggling. And I have the gains, I mean, barely even turned on. All the way off, you have no sub. Barely. I mean, just a flinch of a movement is all I can give them. Any more than that, and they just start falling apart. So the customer's on his way now to get it. So I need to pick up my tools, get prepared for him to come by, show him how to hook up his phone and everything. Make sure he's happy with it. I'm not happy with it, but I'm a perfectionist and I'm super OCD. And that's why I spend so much time on these installs, but I don't charge the customers for my OCD. So I spend all that time because I like everything to be perfect and look as good as it possibly can. Hopefully he's happy. I'll let you know. And that's it. Lights are out. Customer came, got his car. He's very happy with it. I was worried he wouldn't be happy with it, so I didn't say a word. I just was like, you listen to it, look at it, make sure you like it, let me know if you don't. He put in some Eric Clapton, turned it up to what I would even consider not even half volume. And I guess that's where he listens to it, and he loved it. He was like, wow, that's great. And I was like, whew, because at high volume where I liked it, it just wasn't holding up. I have found through the years, you just don't say anything because I don't know what someone listens to it at. I don't know what volume. And then when I found that that's where he listens to it, then yeah, it's totally fine for him. But I did tell him, hey, if you get a little bit louder, just so you know, you'll hear the bass, you'll have issues, so you can go to the EQ and you can adjust things out. And he already asked, about upgrading, which I know later he's going to want to, because everybody does with the Corvettes. The Bose system only works so long before you're like, okay, let's get better. But that's it. He's happy. I'm happy. I got paid. I want to go home now. It's late. Tomorrow is another day. I will see you then. Thanks for watching. Later.